If you've ever felt like manifesting your desires was a grind, like no matter how much you visualized or set intentions, some invisible anchor kept you stuck. This might be the most life-altering truth you will ever confront. There is a precise reason your greatest efforts always backfire. It's not that you're flawed or lacking focus, it's because nearly everything you've been taught about breakthroughs depends on brute force. Forcing your brain to channel positivity, forcing your body to perform, forcing life to obey your timetable. But in the realm of quantum consciousness, pushing back is never the engine of true alchemy. Instead, there's a hidden mechanism that explains why so many people end up burnt out chasing a future that remains just out of reach. It's called frequency misalignment. When your inner world is crowded with strain, anxiety, and the desperation to achieve, you are actively scrambling your signal. From the vantage point of the cosmic field, your energy is fractured. One part of you is screaming success, but the deeper part is broadcasting the terror that it won't land, and the universe mirrors the full broadcast, not just your articulated request. In this video, you're going to learn about what I call the quantum coherence switch. A fundamental reset that completely rewires your interaction with all of reality. It doesn't demand you think harder, hustle more, or follow tedious routines. It's about generating a pure, unified signal within your own field that automatically tunes in what you are chosen to live. And the paradox is potent. The instant you cease demanding reality conform to your command, the life force you've been wasting in struggle instantly locks into place. Your nervous system exhales, your perception clarifies, you transition from a clenched vibration to an undeniable magnet, and in that effortless state, the universe starts to deliver on your blueprint with shocking precision. If this feels abstract, let's explore the hard data that confirms it. Every impulse in your mind produces an electrical signature. Every deep emotional state generates measurable patterns in your heart and brain. When you are under pressure, your heart rhythm shatters, your breathing restricts, and your brain waves splinter into chaotic noise. This is called incoherence, and researchers define it as biological static. Visualize it like trying to enjoy a perfect song on an old radio while the volume is drowned out by pure static. Regardless of how beautiful the music is, you can't hear it because the channel is not clear. This is why many people spend years repeating mantras or vision boarding without seeing one major breakthrough. They are plastering optimistic words over a body that remains in survival panic. They are shouting desire while fundamentally embodying resistance. And so, no matter how many times they declare, "I am wealthy," the field absorbs the underlying frequency of fear. The quantum coherence switch isn't a technique you do. It's a surrender you allow by establishing the exact conditions for alignment to erupt spontaneously. Put simply, it's about synchronizing your body and mind so flawlessly that your energy stabilizes into a single, unhackable transmission. Today, you will master the secret to activating this switch and understand why you don't need to be perfect or micromanage every fleeting thought. You will witness that your own nervous system is designed to recalibrate itself when you provide it with the right cues. A deeper breath, an intention anchored in curiosity, not panic, and a fierce willingness to drop the need for instant results. Before we dive into the data and the method, I want you to internalize this single point. Every single outcome in your history has been sculpted by the frequency you constantly transmit. Not the one you occasionally visit when you feel inspired, but the one you default to when no one is watching. That frequency is not a moral judgment on your worth. It's purely the composite result of your thoughts, emotions, and physical state. When you grasp this, it becomes instantly clear why no amount of hustle or striving can override a chronically chaotic signal. But the moment you achieve coherence, when your breath, heart, and focus lock into synchronicity, everything changes. You feel the difference at a cellular level. A melting, an expansion, a quiet, unshakable knowing that you don't need to fight or chase anything. And in a stunning twist, it's often within this state of true non-attachment that the world begins to respond in ways you once thought demanded colossal effort. In the next segment of this experience, we're going to dissect the scientific proof for this incredible switch. You will discover exactly how scientists measure coherence, why it's absolutely vital to your personal evolution, and how this process perfectly mirrors what ancient wisdom has always taught about flow, presence, and surrender. Stay tuned, because once this clicks, you'll realize that the life you've been literally trying to drag into existence is already waiting, ready for you to simply tune into its frequency. If you've ever questioned whether this idea of a vibrational shift is just a metaphor or something that science can actually quantify, you are in good company. It's completely normal to demand evidence before committing to something that sounds so ethereal. But what's truly astonishing about the convergence of quantum science, biology, and ancient teachings is that they all arrive at the exact same conclusion. Your internal experience isn't simply a private feeling. It's a powerful signal. And that signal is fundamentally reshaping how reality manifests around you, moment by moment. Let's start with the data. In the field of neurocardiology, scientists have confirmed that your heart generates the most potent electromagnetic field in your body, many times more powerful than the field of your brain. This incredible field radiates for several feet beyond your skin and can be measured using sophisticated tools like magnetocardiograms. When you experience frustration, stress, or any hint of survival panic, your heart rhythm becomes spiked and chaotic. This state is labeled incoherence. Incoherence is not a character flaw, it's merely the signature of a nervous system stuck in defense mode. But here's the crisis. When your heart rhythm is disordered, your brain waves also become erratic and unstable. Your breath shallows, your immune system redlines, and your attention funnels down to scan for threats. This is an ancient mechanism that was once vital for survival. But in modern existence, it often becomes a chronic, destructive default, one that broadcasts a fear signal into the quantum field, whether you're aware of it or not. Now contrast this with the state of full coherence. When you intentionally slow your breathing and direct your focus to genuine feelings of appreciation or deep calm, your heart rhythm becomes fluid and wave-like. Scientists call this heart-brain coherence, and the impact is staggering. Stress hormones like cortisol plummet. Regenerative compounds like DHEA skyrocket. Your brain waves lock in sync with your heart's rhythm. Your immune system fortifies, your vision expands beyond fear-based thinking. This is undeniable fact, it's data. And from a quantum perspective, coherence generates a stable, formidable frequency, one that interacts with the field in ways that chaos simply cannot. Think of it like a pair of tuning forks. When one fork is struck, a nearby fork begins to vibrate with the exact same frequency through a process called entrainment. Your coherent field operates exactly the same way. When you maintain this state, you literally entrain your environment and all the possibilities within the field to align with your signal. This is why in elevated states, synchronicities explode. Solutions materialize out of thin air, and life begins to feel like it's flowing with you instead of actively resisting you. Ancient teachings described this exact state long before the advent of modern science. Yogic texts spoke of samadhi, a state of radical presence and unity. Mystics referred to it as surrender, the profound art of releasing control and permitting a higher intelligence to orchestrate reality. In Taoist philosophy, it's famously known as Wu Wei, or effortless action. While the terminology shifts, the fundamental truth remains the same. When you release resistance and align your inner world, the entire reality reorganizes itself in response. But let's be crystal clear. Coherence does not mean you never experience fear or uncertainty. It means you refuse to live there. You train yourself to observe those fleeting fluctuations without collapsing your entire energy field into them. You can snap back to the baseline of calm more rapidly because your nervous system has been reprogrammed to recognize it as home. This is why the quantum coherence switch isn't about forcing yourself to be happy all the time. It's about actively cultivating the inner environment, slow, deep breath, relaxed attention, authentic intention, that permits coherence to ignite naturally. Once you truly experience this, you realize something profound. Striving is often a symptom of deep misalignment. The harder you push, the more you signal to the field that you are separated from your desired outcome. The more you release and attune, the more naturally life begins to mirror your inner state. This is why so many people feel mentally drained on the journey of personal growth. They are attempting to solve internal chaos with more tactics, more seminars, more relentless output. But the quantum field doesn't respond to volume. It only responds to clarity. So how do you forge that clarity? You commit to noticing when you fall into chaos and gently returning to coherence, over and over. You drop the frantic urgency. You anchor in the knowledge that the universe is a collaborator. It reflects back the exact frequency you are broadcasting. And you realize that the massive shift you've been waiting for doesn't require external proof before you simply trust it. In the next crucial segment of this experience, I'm going to walk you through, step by step, the quantum coherence switch technique. You'll discover that it's deceptively simple. A potent combination of breath focus and a single question that instantly dissolves all resistance. If you practice this with genuine sincerity, you will immediately begin to feel the undeniable difference in your own energy, sometimes within mere seconds. Stay present, because this is the moment where theory becomes embodiment and where you stop battling reality and start vibrating with it. Now that you've grasped the science and the philosophy behind coherence, you are primed to experience the quantum coherence switch for yourself. This practice is not complex, but it demands the one thing most people find shockingly difficult: the radical willingness to stop trying. Because the split second you stop trying to command reality, you create the optimal conditions for your energy field to re-engineer itself. Before we begin the steps, I want you to understand that this is not about achieving flawless execution. You do not need to be free from all doubt or difficult emotions. You do not need to sustain some endless artificial bliss. All that is required is your openness to approach the exercise with curiosity instead of rigid expectation. When you bring that quality of deep allowance, the technique becomes a portal, one you can step through anytime you choose. Here is exactly how to do it. First, secure a space where you can sit comfortably and uninterrupted for a few minutes. You don't need a special altar or a ritual. Though if you feel drawn to light a candle or play gentle ambient music, please follow that impulse. What matters most is that you feel safe enough to turn your focus inward. Begin by gently closing your eyes. Take a slow, deliberate draw of air in through your nose. Allow your belly to softly inflate as if you are filling a vast balloon. Exhale slowly through your mouth, letting your shoulders melt away from your ears. Repeat this 3 or 4 times until your breath begins to naturally decelerate. This foundational step is known as physiological resetting. When you deliberately slow your breath, you signal safety to your nervous system. This single action instantly begins to pivot your heart rhythm toward coherence. If you could see your energy field, you would watch the spiked, stressed waveforms dissolve into smooth, consistent patterns. Next, draw your entire focus to the center of your chest. You can place a hand lightly over your heart if it helps to ground your attention. Imagine that each inhale is drawing a pure, luminous energy directly into your heart center. Each exhale radiates this energy throughout your entire body, forging a calm, powerful field around you. Now this is the moment the switch flips. Gently introduce the feeling of deep appreciation. This doesn't have to be a massive, overwhelming wave of emotion. It can be as simple as gratitude for the life force entering your lungs or the quiet moment of sanctuary you've created. The key is absolute authenticity. Even a tiny, genuine feeling has a seismic impact on your frequency. Maintain this focus for a minute or two, allowing the feeling to grow organically without forcing it. If your mind begins to drift, gently acknowledge it with kindness and simply return to your breath and the sensation in your chest. You may begin to notice subtle shifts, a warmth, a sense of physical release, or a powerful stillness. This is the dawn of coherence. Once you feel stable, you can introduce a question, a key that instantly dissolves resistance and helps your field align with possibility. What would it feel like if this situation was already effortless? Do not search for a mental answer. Instead, invite your body to respond. You might observe a softening in your stomach, a gentle unclench in your jaw, or a sense of open space in your awareness. This felt embodied response is the evidence that your nervous system is finally exiting the stress loop. Here is why this step is so profoundly important. When you ask, what would it feel like? You bypass the linear, logical mind that demands to control, plan, and predict. You instantly step into the domain of pure frequency, into the language that the quantum field actually understands, because the field doesn't respond to your plans. It responds to the vibration you are holding. I want you to view this as tuning an instrument. You are not violently bending the strings into harmony. You are gently finessing the tension until resonance naturally occurs. Sometimes that resonance arrives instantly. Other times it accumulates gradually. Regardless, your only job is to remain open and allow the process. You can deploy this technique anytime, before starting your day to set your vibrational baseline, when you feel yourself sliding into stress or pressure, or before making a crucial decision. This ensures your action is born from alignment, not desperation. Many people anticipate dramatic explosions the first time they attempt this. Occasionally that happens, a sudden flash of insight or a powerful release of emotion. But more often the transformation is subtle and deep. You simply feel less restricted, more receptive, and strangely at peace, even if nothing in your outer world has changed one bit. This is the signature feeling of coherence. And from this inner sanctuary, you become vastly more effective, not because you are hustling more, but because your energy is no longer battling itself. Your intention is razor sharp. Your nervous system is tranquil. Your field is unshakable. I want to share a quick example to show you exactly how this looks in the real world. A client of mine, a successful designer, had spent months fighting to secure a massive new contract. She was crafting complex pitches, sending proposals, and visualizing success constantly. But beneath all her aggressive action was a deep undercurrent of panic. What if it fails? What does that say about me? She was broadcasting two frequencies at once, craving and crippling doubt, and the result was absolute gridlock. When she began to truly practice the quantum coherence switch, everything shifted. She stopped rehearsing outcomes and started embodying the feeling of effortless trust. Within days, the opportunities began to flood back in. Key introductions, unexpected new partners, a project she'd basically written off suddenly resurfaced. The point is not that the practice magically delivered what she wanted. It's that her coherent signal made her more attuned, more relaxed, more capable of recognizing the doors that were already standing open. This is your potential too. You do not have to wrestle reality into submission. You can learn to tune yourself to the frequency that naturally magnifies what resonates. In the next crucial part of this experience, We'll explore what happens when you commit to living from this place consistently. How your entire external life begins to rearrange itself around your new coherence, and the unmistakable signs that your frequency is stabilized. Stay locked in. You are closer to this profound shift than you imagine. When you begin to practice the quantum coherence switch consistently, you'll likely notice a key change. Life doesn't necessarily become easier in the sense that all challenges suddenly disappear. But the way you experience life transforms so fundamentally that even the same difficulties feel lighter, clearer, and instantly solvable. This is one of the very first signs that your frequency is solidifying. You realize that your sense of deep peace and possibility is no longer dependent on external approval or results. Instead of waiting for life to validate that you're correct, you begin to feel a deep internal certainty that your alignment is the proof you need. One of the most powerful changes you will observe is that urgency simply vanishes. The constant background static of "I must solve this right now" starts to power down. You find yourself responding calmly to situations rather than instinctively panicking. Decisions emerge from clarity instead of anxiety. Even if your mind occasionally slips back into old narratives, you snap back to your coherent baseline far more quickly. This doesn't mean you stop caring about outcomes. It means you stop believing that you must micromanage everything to feel secure. And shockingly, as you release the compulsion to force, you often see a greater and faster movement in your outer world. The projects that felt stalled suddenly begin to accelerate. The difficult conversations you were dreading resolve themselves with surprising ease. Opportunities and perfect connections start to materialize with zero friction. This is not a mystical process, it is pure resonance. The purer your signal, the easier it becomes for reality to organize itself around your exact frequency. In quantum terms, your field collapses probabilities into solid form. But the quality of what emerges is dictated by the coherence and stability of your inner vibration. Let's examine a few examples of how this typically manifests. 1. Synchronicities explode. You might think of someone you haven't connected with in years, and they call you literally moments later. You feel an undeniable nudge to visit a certain location or research a topic, only to realize it holds the perfect next step you needed. These profound experiences are not accidents. They are proof that your energy field is interacting seamlessly with the larger web of possibility. 2. Relationships recalibrate. People who thrive on your old patterns may naturally fall away. New high-vibration connections effortlessly enter your life, often carrying a feeling of deep ease or familiarity. You may be drawn to collaborations that once felt out of your league, not because you worked harder, but because your frequency now perfectly matches those opportunities. 3. Your body undergoes a shift. Many people report subtle yet powerful physiological changes. Deeper restorative sleep, a stable energy baseline, a softening in the nervous system. You might notice that you breathe more fully without conscious effort, or that your body releases old tension on its own. 4. You become non-reactive. Difficulties still arise, but they no longer feel like personal attacks. You find yourself observing them instead of instantly clamping down. This is one of the clearest signals that your coherence is unshakable. You maintain perfect perspective even when outer circumstances fluctuate wildly. 5. An unshakable trust emerges. Perhaps the most life-defining effect is a realization that you don't need to prove yourself to anyone, not even to your own mind. You possess an embodied certainty that your inherent worth is not conditional on achievements or results. This deep trust is magnetically powerful. It empowers you to act with clear purpose without the heavy weight of desperation. When these incredible shifts begin to surface, many people ask, "How can I be certain this is truly happening?" The answer is simple and direct. When your perception, body, and responses change in ways you could never force before, you are not just imagining progress. You are experiencing pure, measurable transformation. This is why the quantum coherence switch isn't a quick fix or a technique you use once and then forget. It's a disciplined practice, a new way of engaging with yourself in the universe that grows more powerful every time you return to it. The more consistently you cultivate coherence, the more naturally you stabilize in a frequency that attracts experiences that are perfectly aligned with the highest version of who you are becoming. And here is something vital to remember. Oscillation is normal. You will have days when old patterns surge back. You will catch yourself reacting or questioning. This is an essential part of integration. Every time you simply notice and deliberately choose to return to coherence, you reinforce your new baseline. Think of it like a muscle-building workout. Each clean repetition builds undeniable strength. So before we move into the final part of this powerful experience, I want to invite you to validate this profound shift within yourself, because the simple act of naming your change, of consciously claiming it, instantly amplifies the signal you are broadcasting. If you are feeling even a subtle alignment right now, a sense that something powerful inside you is rearranging, take a quick moment to anchor it. In the comments section, simply type, "I am shifting." These 3 words are far more than just a phrase. They are a declarative command to your nervous system, to your subconscious mind, and to the quantum field that you are choosing a new frequency of being. Stay with me, because in the next part we're going to expose the most common traps people fall into when practicing this switch and how to prevent yourself from sliding back into the cycle of strain and frustration. You'll realize that maintaining coherence doesn't require flawless execution. It only requires your fierce willingness to keep returning to presence again and again until it becomes your default state. You're already closer to this radical transformation than you realize. If you've been practicing the quantum coherence switch or any form of energy alignment, you've likely noticed how fast the mind wants to turn it into another performance metric. Another opportunity to judge, measure, and reprove your worth. This is almost guaranteed in the beginning because we have all been conditioned to believe that results only materialize through relentless control and exhaustion. But this is one of the greatest ironies you will face on this path. The more you desperately pursue a specific state, the more you solidify the feeling that you are lacking it. The harder you try to force coherence, the more you signal to the universe that you are still operating from a place of deep separation. This is precisely why so many people get paralyzed in cycles of frustration. They begin the practice with genuine intention. They feel a fleeting moment of pure peace. And then almost instantly their mind launches into, "Is this actually working? Why don't I feel it more powerfully? Why hasn't my life changed yet?" These questions are understandable. They come from the part of you that has been trained to measure progress by external proof and instant outcomes. But in the quantum realm, the universe doesn't respond to impatience or self-attack. It responds only to consistency and absolute clarity. So let's look at the most common pitfalls that can instantly pull you back into chaos and how to effortlessly navigate them with conscious awareness. 1. Trying to fake an emotion you genuinely don't feel. Many people mistakenly believe they must manufacture bliss, ecstasy, or love to boost their frequency. But fake emotion instantly creates a powerful inner conflict. If you are feeling doubt or quiet sadness, pretending to feel ecstatic simply adds another layer of self-betrayal. Instead, start with something viscerally real, even if it feels minute. The pure relief of a deep breath, the simple acknowledgement that you have a second to just pause. Authenticity carries vastly more energetic coherence than any performance. 2. Using the practice as a weapon to manipulate outcomes. It's natural to desire that your life will improve when you align your energy, and over time it absolutely will. But if your core motive is to extract something from the field, to quickly manifest a specific goal, you instantly slip back into pushing. The quantum coherence switch works most powerfully when you treat coherence as the reward itself. The deep calm, the piercing clarity almost, the sense of inner connection. These are the true, unshakable gifts. From that place, outcomes emerge naturally, often in ways you could never have scripted. 3. Becoming hyper-focused on every single thought. Once you realize your energy shapes reality, it's tempting to obsessively patrol your mind. You catch a passing negative thought and instantly panic, fearing you've destroyed your vibration. But this hyper-control only generates more chaos. Thoughts will still arise, doubts will still surface. None of this is a problem if you simply observe them without judgment or identity. The universe doesn't require perfection. It responds to your dominant, consistent frequency over time. 4. Expecting massive, instant movie-style change. Some energetic shifts can feel instant. You may have brief, powerful moments of sudden relief or profound clarity. But more often, true transformation is incremental, a gradual re-engineering of your entire perception and physiology. If you keep judging your progress by how fast the world rearranges itself, you will miss the subtle indicators that your frequency is already rising. Deeper sleep, more spontaneous calm, zero reactivity. These small shifts are the absolute foundation of the massive breakthroughs to come. 5. Abandoning the practice when life becomes truly difficult. Ironically, the moments you feel the most contracted are the times coherence can serve you most powerfully. But many people assume that if they can't feel effortless calm right away, the practice is a failure, so they quit. This is the exact moment when it is most critical to return to the fundamentals. Slowing your breath, softening your awareness, and remembering that your worth is not dependent on feeling perfect. Over time, you forge the capacity to remain coherent even when facing major turbulence. When you fully understand these common patterns, you stop viewing them as personal failures. You recognize them as the essential learning curve, vital opportunities to strengthen your ability to return to presence. This is what mastery actually looks like. Not some constant, unbroken state of bliss, but a fierce commitment to choosing alignment every time you momentarily drift away. One powerful way to simplify this process is to redefine your metrics of success. Instead of asking, "Did I manifest my goal today?" Try asking, "Did I return to coherence more times than yesterday? Did I notice when I tried to force the outcome? Did I soften my grip even for a single second?" These new questions measure the only thing you can truly command, your internal state. And when you make coherence your number one priority, external shifts become absolutely inevitable. Not because you forced them, but because you finally stopped scrambling your signal. In the next crucial segment of this experience, we are going to integrate everything. I will personally guide you through a quick, potent exercise you can do right now to feel your frequency stabilizing in real time. You'll also hear an invitation to join a committed community of people dedicated to living from this state of coherence, not as a temporary feeling, but as a new mode of existence. Stay present, because integration is where transformation becomes permanent, and where you discover that the universe has always been listening. Now that you've absorbed the principles behind the quantum coherence switch and explored how to instantly recognize and avoid the most common mental traps, it is time to fully activate this shift for yourself. Because absolutely zero amount of intellectual theory can substitute for the felt sense of coherence in your own body. This final practice will only take a few minutes, but it can serve as a powerful instant reset whenever you feel yourself sliding back into desperation and exhausting effort. You can return to it anytime you need to remember how easy it can be to align with a stable, high frequency. Find a quiet, secure space where you can sit comfortably without any distractions. You don't need to be in a perfect state of mind. You don't need to banish all your thoughts. Just bring your honest willingness to be here exactly as you are. Gently close your eyes or simply soften your focus. Let your hands rest softly on your lap, or place one over your heart, whichever feels more grounding. Take a slow, deep, intentional breath in through your nose. Feel your belly expand and soften. Hold the air for a brief moment, then release it slowly through your mouth. Repeat this 2 more times, making each exhale noticeably longer than the inhale. With your next natural breath, draw your entire attention to the space in the center of your chest. Imagine this space as a soft, radiant core, a quiet presence that has always existed beneath the ceaseless roar of your mind. As you continue to breathe, invite a feeling of authentic appreciation into your awareness. It doesn't need to be overwhelming or flawless. Just find something simple, undeniable you can be grateful for. The clean air filling your lungs, the steadiness of your seat, the simple fact that you chose to spend this moment with yourself. Let this feeling expand organically. You do not need to force it to grow. You do not need to analyze its source. Simply observe how your body responds as you sustain appreciation in your awareness. Maybe your shoulders relax, maybe your jaw unclenches, maybe you feel a subtle warmth in your chest. Remain here for a few tranquil breaths, allowing the sense of deep coherence to build naturally. Now introduce a single, potent question into the space of your heart. What would it feel like if I stopped struggling? Do not search for a linguistic answer. Let your body be the reply. Perhaps there is a small sigh of relief, a softer exhale, a quiet sense of unrestricted space. This is coherence. This is the pristine frequency beneath all striving. If you feel your mind pulling you away, just notice the distraction and gently return to your breath and the feeling in your heart. You are not trying to manufacture an outcome. You are simply remembering what it feels like to be in pure resonance. Stay here as long as you desire. When you feel ready, take one final slow inhale, anchoring the stability of this state. And as you exhale, gently open your eyes, carrying this powerful sense of coherence with you into the world. If you felt even a subtle release, I want you to know this is where true transformation is forged, not in massive public breakthroughs, but in the quiet, consistent moments when you choose to return to alignment without demanding instant proof. This is a practice you can weave into every facet of your life, before a tough conversation, before you start your crucial workday. Whenever you feel the compulsion to control or to question your journey, you can pause, breathe, and remember this truth. Coherence is always instantly available to you. And if you found powerful value here, if something in you feels sharper, calmer, and more willing to trust, I want to invite you to stay connected. Subscribing to this channel is not about collecting more information or chasing the next viral idea. It is about joining a true collective of people who are ready to live from this place of core coherence together. A space where science and deep wisdom merge, where we can explore these principles with sincerity and depth, and where your evolution is supported one conscious breath at a time. If this deeply resonates, you can subscribe now and know that every time you return here, whether to master a new skill or simply to remind yourself of your own power, you are strengthening this highest frequency within yourself. Thank you for being here, for the quiet courage it takes to let go of the struggle and trust the sheer intelligence of your own field. Maintain your coherence. Keep observing with radical compassion. And always remember, the universe responds to who you are being, not what you are trying to prove.